Hi, Rick here with the Jeld Wen Tech channel. I'm replacing these old windows in my house, probably around 1925, 1927, with some new Jeld Wen windows. As you can see, I've got one replaced here. You kind of see it. And I thought I'd make a video on how to get these out and put the new window in. So first on the outside, we want to start with the screen. I've already taken the screws out. So pull that screen off. And you'll see that they've installed kind of a seal on this upper sash here. It's got a little bit of rubber on the inside, and it's got like a copper strip that holds it in. First, then you want to take these off. Get this other one started here. And you want to take something, I'm using this right now to kind of break the paint seal on the old sash. These are double hungs, where the top sash at one time was able to operate. They've been painted in and all that, and good luck with that. That all broke loose there. Next, we'll move to the inside. I'll show you how that's done. Here we are inside the home on day 2. Yesterday you saw me prep the outside of my windows for removal. There are other videos out there that depict this process. However, I was looking for a step-by-step for dummies. Most instructions that I've seen online were generalized, so this video will show every process while editing out the unnecessary timelines so you're not bored to death, hopefully. Perhaps this video will help someone down the road to gain confidence to take on this process themselves. First of all, as most instructions will show you, you take your measurements of your overall width of the inside of your rough opening jamb, which in my case is 28 inches. The height is 58 inches. Now you want to take 3 measurements and take that smallest measurement, and I ordered them under custom. I took a 1/4 inch off the width of the window and a 1/4 inch off the height. So that would have made my windows 27 3/4 by 57 3/4. So then once you do that, then you order your windows and they come in and you check them. You might want to check your plumb too. You might want more than a 1/4 inch, not much more, because your stop on the outside what the window goes against is only a 1/2 inch. So make sure your windows are plumb and get the right measurements before you order the windows. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take off this inside stop. I'm going to save this stop if you can, because you're going to reuse it. I'm going to score that paint. So you're not pulling all that paint off like that first piece. So that's an example of how not to do it. Cast that off the side. You can pull the nails out later. I had to put my hat on to get hair on my eyes. Alright. Okay, now you got your lower sash loose. Pull your ropes out. Pull down on your ropes a little bit. Cut that off. Cut that off. Okay, next you've got your parting stop. That separates the two sashes. You want to get that off of there. Got your paint line. I'm going to do the same thing on the outside, what I can get to. All right. Get this chisel in there, hooker, pull down a little bit, put your bar behind it. Another little situation with these old windows, you've got a little bump out here on this rail. And you can't get the stop past it, so I'm just going to take a chisel, knock that out of there. And the stop will come out. I'm not going to use these windows again. Stop should come past that. Hook the next one. Bar behind it. Same way on the top. There's that. Okay, pull down your upper sash. Take the ropes off first. Cut the weights free. And you've got your pulleys exposed here for the ropes. Just hammer them flat. Okay, here's a new window here. I wanted to show you this before I put it in. You can see right on the end here, this piece here, it's called a sill adapter. Now when you get it on your window like I did in this case, the length of it was determined by a 14-degree sill angle. I have a 7-degree sill angle. So what you want to do is, this piece was loose. Matter of fact, I didn't think I even had the pieces and I was freaking out about it until a guy came over and said, oh yeah, they fastened it on the top of the window, and then you take it off And I basically cut it on a table saw after I put the window in, rough opening. I just put the window in without caulking or anything, and I measured from the bottom of my sill to the back of the groove on this sill adapter, and then I cut it off accordingly. Otherwise, if you try and put it in a window with the measurements that I gave, the window won't clear at the top here. And you don't want to do a lot of chiseling, so it's better off just to cut the sill adapter to begin with. So we're going to stick it in there right now and see what we got. Whoopee! There she is. Now when you're checking your measurement out there with the sill adapter off, or how much you got to cut off of it, you want to put your little nail up here in the deal, in the top frame, so that if you got a strong wind coming at you, or you open and close the door, the window doesn't fly out and drop on the floor. So then once you get that measurement and cut your sill adapter, then you can come back in, take your nail out, pull the window out. So at this point, we know the window fits, so we're going to run our bead of caulk on the inside of the outside. I'm using a clear. It looks white now, but when it dries, it'll be clear, and you can paint it. It's flexible. Put a good bead of caulk on there, at least a 1/4 inch diameter. Okay, now we're going to set the window in after we've caulked the inside of the outer stop. Make sure it's pushed up against that caulking. I'm going to put a little screw up here for right now temporarily, because the window does want to come back on me a little bit. We'll stop that from going on. We're going to take these shims. They say within 3 inches from the corners, top and bottom, and at least one in the middle, depending on how big your window is and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do first is mark up about 3 inches. I'm going to go 3 inches from here. Make a mark with a magic marker, Sharpie, so you know where you're going to put your shims. Three to 4 inches, something like that. Okay, take your shim, shove it all the way in, make a mark. And you want to cut that shim off a little shorter than that. Reason being, you don't want your shim coming to the outside of the window here. So that when you go and caulk it, in my case I'm going to use some non-expanding or low-expanding foam to insulate, you want a continuous line of seal. So you don't want this wood to be in your way. So then once we've done that, we're going to cut it off at that shorter distance. put some of this adhesive on the back side of it. Pointy side sticking out. Stick it on there. And we're going to shove it back with another shim. You're going to take another shim, put it on top of that one, mark it. Same way, pull it out, cut it shorter, shove that in there next to the other one. Push her back. Make sure she's in there good, solid. Make sure the window still operates good. 3/4, 27 3/4, 27 3/4. All right, there's the shimming process. Next up, we want to drill our holes for our screws. Okay, now you want to take a 3/8 drill bit to drill your holes. That's what the instructions say, a 3/8, and the reason for that is they give you these little plugs, white plugs that fit in there after you put your screw in, which I'm not sure where you'd probably use them or need to, because if you put one of these down at the bottom where your sash closes, your sash is going to hit them every time they come down, so you just leave an open hole. It's not a big deal. Your frame is completely encased, so there shouldn't be any air getting in there. Now, another one I'm going to put up here behind a piece of trim. I'll just take that off and show you what that looks like. This trim up here at the top also kind of stops your window from going all the way up. I'm just going to pop them off of there for now so we can drill our holes. Set them off to the side. Take your drill and your 3/8 and just come inside right on your 3" mark. Drill a hole. But you only go through this first layer. You don't want to go through your outer frame, so make sure you stop after you get that drill bit. Same way on the bottom here. Another thing about this kit that they give you, in the instructions and everything, it says use at least 1¼ inch pan head screws, which is what I got here, pan head screws. Well, they send you these flathead screws. Pan heads are better for holding something flat. You don't want to end up drilling or screwing it in too far and splitting your frame. So anyway, get you a drill bit just big enough for that screw to go in. Drill through your outer frame with the new window. Make sure your window is pushed to the outside. Now in the center section here, lift your window open, cock her back. Like I say, there's this little gap here where I put my mark. So I'm going to drill a 3/8 hole right through there. Drill a hole for your screw through the outer frame. And now we can put our screws in. start here at the bottom. Make sure your window is pushed out. Start your screw. And double check our measurements. Okay, at this point, we've got our window screwed in, pushed against the caulking on the outside stop. So basic install is complete. So now we'll go on the outside and I'll show you how to seal the outside. Okay, here we are on the outside. What we want to do now is seal the window to the stop that we pushed it against on the inside. We use the same clear caulking again. Okay, we got that sealed. Next step, you don't want an awful lot of caulk. You don't need a lot of caulk. Plus you might want to do a little painting later on. So these are kind of a godsend, these little tools here. It's called a caulk finisher. Go along what you just did. Pull off the excess. And it leaves you a nice thin caulk line. Come back in from the other way. Get the rest of that corner. Same way down the sides. See all that excess? Good caulker wouldn't do that, but we're in a hurry to do it. We got another window to put in before dark, and it's coming quick. Okay, we're going to run a bead on the bottom, which I should have done the first time. Take off the excess. There we go. One window install. I'll go inside and I'll show you a couple minor details. You see this trim on here, how crappy it looks. Well, that's from 20-some years of putting plastic on the windows and taping it in, keep the cold out on this north side of the house. This ought to make it a lot better now. Now, a few minor details here. You can see this gap down here on the bottom. There's a couple different options one could do to retrim this out, but what I think I'm going to do to make it simpler is I'm going to take all this old casing off, get it all off of there, and get this sill plate off, and I'm going to make a new sill plate and notch it out more so that it'll close this gap here. Then I'll simply reinstall the stops that we took off here. Those will go back up into the window. Before that, of course, we're going to fill up the gaps with that non-expanding foam, and then we'll put the stop back on and the new
new trim, and she should be ready to go. So take on this project, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to save the energy. So good luck. Old man Tech out. Have a good one.